All right, I got to be honest, and I'm just going to cop to it. I turned on the Blazers-Pelicans game last night more for the Blazers. Portland had won 5 of its last 6. The Yusuf Nurkic experiment has been a raging success. I am super intrigued, and still am, at Portland chasing that number 8 seed. But my viewing experience was interrupted by... Oh, yeah. The latest episode, Nola Blue.
Terrible.
Boogie in the Brow.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah. You may remember that when we last left our leading men, it was a bit of a cliffhanger. You know, on Saturday, the Pelicans beat Charlotte, but Boogie had ridden the bench for most of the fourth quarter, all of overtime. Immediately, the boiling hot takes started raining down. There was, see, AD and Boogie can't play together. And I guess Boogie has worn out his welcome in New Orleans already. You like that voice? That's pretty good, right? It's good. Much to the surprise of those pundits, something interesting happened. Boogie did not explode. He did not curse out Alvin Gentry or snipe at Davis. Instead, when the Pels took the floor last night, the two players just looked increasingly chummy. And New Orleans not only pulled the upset, it got this alley-oop for the ages. Yeah, that is in-game, 360, defended.
Wow.
So good. Now, we also saw some flashes of the same style of that big-to-big pick and roll that Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan can make so brutishly dangerous, and, dare I say it, some chemistry out there. So where do things stand with the Pelicans? Well, we always knew it was going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. The day after the trade for Cousins, we showed you right here on The Jump how New Orleans had one of the most brutal schedules of any of the contenders for the 8th seed. But we need to stop thinking that's the only measure of success. In Boogie and the Brow, the Pelicans have 2 of the most dangerous skill sets in the NBA on their roster. If those 2 are really starting to gel, it might not just be AD's dunking that's pulling the turnaround, but the entire franchise. Now, I mean, usually when you have 2 stars who are starting to have that chemistry, that's just universally a good thing. But it does open up an interesting problem for New Orleans. They're not going to make the playoffs, it looks like. There's only 15 more games of the season. And they have this protected pick that they have supposedly given to Sacramento in exchange for Boogie, except what?
Except it's top 3 protected, so if you kind of stumble along the way, you can end up keeping that pick. And, you know, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
So what should they be playing for now?
Well, see, here's my thought. My thought is the roster is so ravaged that nights like last night are going to be a lot rarer than the norm being them losing a lot. They're 4-6 since this trade happened. But as we said, their schedule is tough. So I don't think you have to do a lot of extracurricular sit guys or any of that. They're going to end up losing a lot of those games anyway. The big problem is there are 3 teams that are clearly worse than they are. Right. Not going to get any better. The Lakers, the Nets, and the Sixers. And they need to move up to the top 3. So I don't know if you can lose enough to...
Their odds aren't bad, though.
But
I don't know.
But to catch those 3 is going to be tough.
As a player,
I don't think they can catch those 3. But then again, they need to keep playing and just to find out, is Boogie the right fit for them? I know you're saying they're at 6-4 since he's been there, but they need to continue to see is this guy going to be a complete fit. But I think with him and Davis next season, you get a good draft pick, they're going to be a real contender.
Well, here's what's interesting to me about the tanking scenario. You're not going to move into the top 3.
No.
But look, we've seen teams be at 6 or 7 and leap into that lottery. So it's possible if you start moving down the standings, I guess, or up the tanking standings. I don't know which way we're talking about it right now. And they're a player, I mean, they're a team, unlike a lot of teams that are tanking that need help everywhere.
Right.
They're a team that if they really did get a lottery pick to add to those 2 guys, I mean, you are talking about a team next year that could be such a force, or is it more important, and then Scottie, you could tell me this, to have those guys play these 15 games, feel like they're winning, experience that winning feeling so they go into the summer feeling good about each other.
I like the hunger. I like to keep the fans excited. I like Boogie still continue to make an impact there. I like to see them finish this season out strong. Okay. Even though they're not going to be where they want to be at the end, I think they will get a better feel of how Boogie and Davis will play together going forward.
Either way, the summer is going to be big for this team.
Yeah, of course.
The summer's going to be
Drew Holiday is going to get rich. All right, before we move on, I do want to roll back to Monday when the Jazz beat the Clippers in what was a pretty chippy game. Rudy Gobert hit J.J. Redick in the face with a forearm early in the 4th. He got teed up. Said it was an accident. You can judge for yourself. Paul shoved Rudy Gobert in the back, and things got even more heated. Now, why are we talking about this now? Well, CP3 was asked yesterday about what it is now looking like a first-round playoff series with Utah and seeing Gobert again. Chris said, quote, I'm not worried about him. He can play, but he just talks a lot, which is, coming from Chris. Scottie, what do you like about the physicality we're seeing with these teams, especially
I like that they're ramping it up. The playoffs is getting here. I like a little animosity out on the basketball court, but I think in that situation, Chris Paul picked the wrong fight. I think you got to go to one of your bigs, grab him in the collar, and say, "Hey, go at him."
Really?
And that's how you do it.
How would how would that work?
Shouldn't the bigs go do it on their own?
I would have it would work. Dennis Rodman would have taken care of that without even saying a word to him.
Yeah.
Some guys just know how to protect their teammates, and in this situation, Chris Paul is protecting his teammates. But I would have loved to have seen a big guy go at him.
That's what they're there for, right? Especially since he's a big, also. But if I'm the Jazz, I'm not flustered by this at all. Someone was saying, are you surprised that a little guard would pick on a big and, he didn't really retaliate? I said, no, because I don't care whether he intimidates him in a fight. I care whether he intimidates him when it comes to the hole.
That's right.
When you pull up for a jumper instead of going all the way to the rim for a layup, that's what Rudy Gobert is there for. As fans, we like seeing teams that don't like each other because we know that's going to get the highest competition out of watching the basketball game.
I can't remember a team that had some interesting series against Utah. Can't really. Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, I have. But never fight. Our series was real clean. It was
no
this battle
off.
between
that
the
never happened.
It was just Karl Malone and Dennis. That's the only two dirty
Karl
ones.
Malone and Dennis never fought. Never had any.
Totally fine. I will say on Monday night, it was important for Utah to get that win at home. They had lost a bunch in a row, the Clippers at home. We are, as you just saw with the standings, looking at probably a 4-5 matchup there. We don't know who's going to end up with home court, but should be a good one. Now let's talk about Wizards, who are going to be the 3 seed in the East. At least right now, they're still gunning for that number 2. John Wall named the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and he got all warm and fuzzy. He said, quote, "I feel like Brad should have been Player of the Week with me." Oh, so nice. Mark Spears of The Undefeated has a new Q&A out with Wall today, and he gave more context to his relationship with Bradley Beal. On Brad getting that big contract this summer, he said, quote, "Everybody said I tried to play him or something. I was watching his money. I was mad. That wasn't it. All I said was, let him be healthy. Let him earn his money." And on his much-discussed relationship with Bradley Beal overall, John Wall told Mark Spears, quote, "It never was bad, but now we spend more time together off the court. We're just building a bond. We always joke, we have fun, we play cards on a plane with each other. All that stuff equaled up to us making a better bond. We never dislike each other. There are just times on the court where you're going to dislike a player. You want the ball, and they want the ball." So, very honest with Mark Spears. I like that. I guess the question for Washington fans, guys, is do you trust this sort of newfound brotherhood that John is talking about?
I do. I see these two players. They've been together. They've matured together, and they've grown together. And now you're seeing them man up to their situation. They want to win in Washington. They want to be successful. They want to play together. And they're just manning up to their relationship now.
It's the old saying, winning is the best deodorant of all. They're winning. They love each other, everything.
Well, that's why the question on the bottom is it going to last?
Well, is the winning going to last? That's the question then. Is the winning going to last? It's not about whether they're going to love each other. That's going to last as long as the winning does.
Okay, so you think it's all related?
I think that you naturally feel better about people when we're all playing well and we're all winning. Yeah, as soon as adversity hits, that's when that tests the relationship. By the way, I do appreciate that he said, they asked him about the Player of the Week, and instead of saying, "No, Brad should have won it," he said, "Brad should have won with me," which is kind of like instead of he tried to do the Adele and break off the thing, but instead it came across like Casey Affleck, like but this is still mine.
Come on, John hasn't won that many. He's not LeBron here, so he's keeping that.
He's on my ballot.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
we got to talk about Melo too, because he scored 15 points in the fourth. He led the Knicks to a comeback win.
Yes.
But let's be honest.
Yes.
All we really care about is the ensemble he rocked after the game. Little mink action. Internet gave him a platinum package meme treatment. What do you guys think? What's your fave here?
Oh, Cameron, yes. Wow. Dipset. You know what's funny? The coat reminds me of Joffrey Jafar's coat from Coming to America. Like like a lion's mane on that. Mm-hmm. Look, here's the thing. Do you know what that outfit says to me? He said, "Phil, you can try and change this weather and give me a blizzard. I'm not leaving New York. You're going to have to take me."
I'm with the producers. I think this was a cry for help.
I think it's just a fashion statement.
Are you down? Okay.
Again,
Give
You're
me the
right,
player.
He's not leaving New
He's not
York.
leaving. He's like, look, I'm here.
Give me the player fashion critique here. Is this a yay or nay on Mellow Fashion?
I'll give him a yay on that. With the blizzard in New York this week, hey.
Yeah, you're into that?
You gotta dress warm, Rachel.
Remember when Dwayne Wade had the crazy fur Wookiee look or what?
See, that's the snozberries taste like snozberries.
That one's not that bad.
That one's all right. That's
Right?
just a hat. This right here, gangster, 20s gangster, Harlem Nights. I don't even know what this is.
I don't know. It's kind of cute.
Wow.
It's a cute dog.
What is this? What is that? Where did y'all find that
Yeah, I
one?
know.
I've never seen that one
pictures.
before.
Clearly, it's time for us to take a break, but coming up next.